Thanks for joining us at Living Word Press for the 12 Days of Christmas. 5 months into World War I, the Christmas truce of 1914 brought a temporary halt to the fighting at multiple locations along the 600 miles of trenches that extended across Belgium and France in Europe. On Christmas Eve, German soldiers began singing Silent Night in their trenches, and soon the British, Scot, and French troops on the other side began singing in response. The soldiers then amazingly spontaneously dropped their weapons and came out of their rat-infested trenches to meet the enemy in the no man's land between them. They shared chocolate bars, spirits, and family photos. They exchanged addresses for when the war was over, and then they played football, and together they did the grim work of burying the frozen corpses of the slain from both sides. And in that temporary stoppage of war, there was a brief respite and a moment of rest and peace before the shooting and the carnage started all over again. There are similar stories from the American Civil War, like the Christmas truce of 1862 after the bloody Battle of Fredericksburg, when Union and Confederate soldiers remembered that they were brothers and fellow countrymen and reflected on the meaning and significance of Christmas. All of us have seen and heard enough of war this year and through our lifetimes to long for a time when there will be no more war. The 20th century was the bloodiest in human history, with 2 world wars in less than 30 years. When we turn to the Old Testament prophets, Isaiah 2 and Micah 4 promise that the future kingdom of God will be a time when humanity will finally beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. The weapons of war will become farming implements, and they will learn war no more. There will be a curriculum change at West Point and Annapolis because military strategy will no longer be a required study, a course of study. The prophet Isaiah especially speaks over and over again of this future time of peace and what that will be like in the future kingdom of God. One writer says that there are 17 passages in the book of Isaiah that speak of deliverance from war or from the effects of war. Not a temporary truce like we heard about in 1914, but a true and a lasting peace that will be permanent and enduring. In Isaiah 9:4, the prophet promises that every boot of the trampling warrior and every garment rolled in blood will be burned as fuel for the fire. Those things will no longer be needed because God will provide a powerful deliverance for his people, and he will give them this lasting peace. And then it says in Isaiah 9:6, a royal child will be born to us. The government will be upon his shoulders, and one of his names is the Prince of Peace. Isaiah 11 is my favorite peace passage from all of these. Again, there will be a king, a shoot from the tree stump of David, who will reign in truth and justice and righteousness so that the world will be in peace. And the prophet gives us the picture of the animal kingdom in harmony to depict a world that is delivered from the curse and from the scourge of war. And here's the picture he gives us in Isaiah chapter 11, verses 6-9. He says, "The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, the calf and the lion and the fatted calf together, and a little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, their young shall lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like an ox. The nursing child shall play over the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den. They shall not hurt or destroy in all of my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord." Isaiah envisions a world where lambs don't have to fear wolves and where little children can play around cobras, because this will be a world that does not have to fear bullets and bombs anymore. This will be a world at perfect peace. Admittedly, as we read these images, these pictures seem like wishful thinking, the hopeless wishes of a dreamy-eyed prophet who is carried away in his imagination and is thinking about something that will never happen. And I think we understand that humanity on its own could never achieve this. It's far-fetched and unbelievable to conceive of a world like this in light of the world that we live today. Except for the fact that Isaiah is clear that humanity will not accomplish this or bring this about on their own. No treaty or United Nations or League of Nations will bring this lasting peace. This peace is consistently connected to the coming of the Prince of Peace, this ideal Davidic ruler who will bring God's kingdom of peace to us. And when Jesus rules on this earth as king, we will have peace because we will finally have a king who is righteous enough not to tolerate injustice, powerful enough to put down all evil and violence, and compassionate enough to care for all of the poor, the oppressed, and the needy. That's how the world will find this lasting peace, through the coming of the Prince of Peace. Jesus made peace with God for us at the cross in his first coming, and he will make peace between the nations when he returns at his second coming. But Jesus not only brings peace to nations, he brings peace to individuals and to broken lives. He calms the turmoil and the turbulence in our lives that keeps us awake at night, and he provides the remedy for a guilty conscience. He heals broken families and marriages when there is strife and dissension and it seems broken beyond repair. Jesus brings peace to us because he has reconciled us to God so that we can be reconciled to each other. Knowing Jesus gives us peace and enables us as sons and daughters of God to be peacemakers in the world, because we have this assurance that one day there will be no more war and the nations will beat their swords into plowshares. Thank you for allowing us to share this part of the Christmas story with you. Merry Christmas and God bless.